We're talking about overheating. Now, during the rainy season, that can be a really big problem for you if your car is overheating. And so very, very important when you drive in traffic and lots of different things happen.
Good morning.
It's almost like overheating can happen anytime. And thank you so much for joining us, Ayo,
So
today.
overheating is like one of the major problems car owners face. And it gets worse during the rainy season. One of the reasons why that happens is you go through a lot of flood, a lot of dirty water, and this area is open. This is the grille. So a lot of dirt accumulates on the surface of the radiator itself, which clogs it up.
Because I've always wondered why, when it's colder, that's when you run a higher risk of overheating the car, especially during the rainy season.
Rainy season, yes, but when it's colder, shouldn't really have anything. The major reason why rainy season and overheating go hand in hand is because of the kind of
floods and the environment
where floods and a lot of dirt in the water and everything. So it accumulates on the surface of the radiator. Sometimes even the condenser works for the AC. So you have people tell you that it's only when I put my AC on the car starts overheating. That's because the surface is already blocked. It can't release the heat to the environment anymore. So you have that. Then another reason why the car would overheat is the radiator cap.
Wow. So the radiator cap itself can make the car overheat.
Exactly. Now I'm going to open this and you can see this. This is springy.
Okay.
Now that spring goes bad over time, just like every other part on the car. It goes bad over time, and you have a case where it's not able to hold the pressure of the radiator.
That's this spring here that you're talking about.
If you press it, you see it springs.
Yeah.
So that will go bad, and then it can no longer hold the pressure. So you find that if even the slightest of pressure will push that spring, and then the water starts passing this hose and going back out. The reservoir fills up and starts overflowing.
So that can also cause overheating. So just little things like that.
Very tiny things. Sometimes it's a case of there's a small leakage somewhere which you as a car owner cannot see. And then the water goes down or the coolant goes down, the car starts overheating. The fan also plays a major role. When the fan is not functioning the way it should, sometimes it's blowing. You see car owners telling you, but my fan is running, it's blowing, but it's not blowing at optimum speed. So
that can also cause overheating as well. Exactly. So these are some of the major things. So apart from things that affect the cooling system, so of course, obviously, I mean, when the car overheats, it's the cooling. That means it's not sufficiently cooling.
Exactly.
So are there any other aspects of the car, maybe something to do with the engine or any other thing that can cause overheating?
There's one rare one. The brakes. It's very rare, but it happens. When your brakes start binding, brake binding means that the brakes are holding the car down. So you find that people don't really know it's holding down. It just seems like the car is hesitating and you're forcing it. That will put a strain on the engine. That can cause the engine to overheat.
So when the engine is strained, it can overheat.
It can cause it to
as
overheat.
Well. Okay, so let's go to solutions. We don't have much time. So if I'm on a Thurman Bridge or on Ikorodu Road, lots of traffic, and suddenly I discover that temperature is going up. What do I do? Like, what's the first aid solution, even if I don't know what the problem is at the time?
Just pull over and park.
Park first.
Find a safe place to park the car, turn the engine off.
Okay.
Then you can now start trying to do your own minor checking to see if it's overheating, or if it's overheating, it's going to be very obvious. The bonnet area is going to be very, very hot. Sometimes you have steam coming out. So if it's overheating, just let it cool down. Do not pour water at that moment. So
let it cool a little bit, just park the car and leave it.
Exactly.
Those first few minutes. Then what next?
Then when you're going to pour water, make sure it's ordinary water. I see people buying cold, pure water to pour in. That can damage your engine. So very important. Ordinary water, room temperature water is what you put in. And once you've done that, you start it and make sure it runs for a while before you start driving. If possible, call your mechanic, because some engines require bleeding. When the water has dried up in it, it requires that you bleed the air that has passed through it already. If not, it will overheat again. Right.
Okay, but there are some people who, the car is overheating, they park the car, open the radiator and discover that there's still water in there, but it's overheating.
You're not supposed to open it immediately.
Yeah, I'm just saying that maybe after you allow it to cool a little bit and you discover that there's still fluid or water inside it, what do you do at that point?
If you discover there's water in it, then you need to have your mechanic come around, because you will not be able to check things like your fan, things like a hose. And most of the time when it overheats that badly, the water will dry up. It does that very quickly. Okay, so to dry up. It's only when it's just started that you can still find water there, and at that point you need to call your mechanic in.
Okay, so these things are really, really important. There are people who maybe they're driving over a long distance and they discover that, okay, this is not a safe area. Maybe I should just stop for a few minutes because I'm still going far. So they allow the car cool a little bit, and then they start driving again. So do you do that? Would you advise that I do that maybe over a long period of time? Maybe trying to get home. At least let me just get the car home.
You can risk it to get the car home. The worst thing that will happen to that car is you have to change the head gaskets. If you know your life is a danger or it's a very dangerous spot, risk it home because your life is more important than the car.
Right.
But if you are in a place where you have people around and you can easily get access to water, stop and do it.
So the first solution always is water. So let it cool out a little bit. Open the radiator, pour some water in it, and then after that, start looking for
a mechanic to help you do the other things.
Wow. Okay. Now, so what's the typical time that you would wait? So if you park your car and it's been overheating, maybe you're in traffic and finally you find a place to park, how long should you wait before touching the radiator cap?
I would say 10 minutes.
10 minutes?
Yes.
So 10 minutes is long enough because I've seen where someone, a 1993 Honda, somebody waited a little bit, maybe like 5 minutes, and opened it, and then the water splashed up in there.
It's too low.
10
minutes is low, but as at 10 minutes, if you open it slightly, the steam would, all the pressure in the radiator would have gone down. Especially if it's one that has a hose here.
Yeah.
The steam would have, or the pressure would have started going down, so you are still on a safe
thing. And I think one thing somebody has also advised is that if you have a rag, use a rag to cover it so that you can hold it down and then it doesn't splash into your face.
If a car is overheating right now, I can personally open it at that moment because I already know how to go about it.
Yeah.
But as a car owner, I would advise just wait 10 minutes first before
10 minutes is a good time to wait before you attempt to open it. Wow, excellent. So you've taught us a few things today. I didn't know that your radiator cap could cause your car to overheat when it begins to weaken.
Exactly.
So very important. It's one of the things that you should check and probably change it regularly, maybe once every few years.
Once a year, once every 2 years is fine.
Okay. Wow, thank you so much, Ayesha, for joining us.